recording now. Welcome to Paxenarian. How do you say your full name?
Vaccinarian.
Paxenarian. That was close. I'm just going to go
Yeah.
with Pax, or as my phone likes to say, Oaks, every time I type your name.
That's great.
I almost lost that IC battle. I'm going to have to try to not do that. So, usually, Pax, when I do this sort of thing, first off, welcome and thank you for doing it with me. But secondly, usually we have like the same four questions that we go over. But because we are busy people and we haven't been doing the questions very much lately, you and I are just going to bullshit about whatever we want to bullshit about, which has been the plan. So I'm going to throw it to you first to see what you want to bullshit about first.
I love it, and I'm here for it.
What would you like to bullshit on first, Pax?
I'm really curious, in particular because you are an academic, and I love that you have done research. It makes me so happy. I'd love to look at or hear about a time in your life that you felt like you had kind of a seminal learning moment, like you changed your mind about something that you never thought you would change your mind about, or like you just learned something that changed your concept of reality.
Yeah, yeah. Um, it's hard to think about that because at this point in like the academic, and I would call myself a former academic at this point. I think I have fully gone corporate, and I don't know that that's a terrible thing at this point. I think maybe one day or maybe later we should talk about whether or not it's good that people are in, or people like me are in academia and how that works. But that's a whole other conversation. But once you've been doing it for whatever, you kind of forget like the big ones like that and think of like the small ones because they're more important. Because
Oh, yeah,
yeah,
definitely.
yeah. So literally, 3 months before I defended my dissertation, which, as you know, is like 2 months before the dissertation is due, which is 1 month before the dissertation is finalized by you. So, like, in the last month of me writing, my advisor and I had been having an argument about something. And honestly, at this point, I forget what it is. I'd have to go back and look. And she kept saying one side of the argument. If I remember properly, I probably wouldn't want to talk about it because it would definitely give me away because what I researched was very specific. But she argued for this very specific interpretation that was more orthodox and regular than everybody else. And she'd also written about it in her book. And so it's like the status quo, but a little bit off, but still good. And I was trying to do something like very different. And I was trying to say that it was this completely new interpretation of this stuff. And I was wrong. And I didn't realize it literally until like a month before. And so I had one of those things where you want to do, and I think this is the biggest learning part. You want to write something or like put out something there that is like revolutionary and like a big change for everything that's there. But that's not how things work. And like 1 in 1 billion people get to do that, or 1 in 3 billion people get to do that, or whatever. And like you just gotta make the incremental change in scholarship, like that sort of thing. Does that make sense what I'm saying?
I hear that. I mean, I think it's important to come to a recognition that moves outside of the uh, subjective eye and like sees how you are part of a bigger flow of ideas that's happening. And I mean, part of it I would challenge is that you don't even know what impact you're going to have for quite a while. A lot of
Sure.
people who have had bigger impacts are people who have had ideas that people spend a lot of time shooting down before we realize, oh, this is actually how it's working. We've had such big technological and just like biology, just what we learned about the brain in the last 30 years, right?
Sure.
Totally changes what we think about like living life, basically.
Yeah.
But um, I feel that we all part of it feels like an ego um, acknowledgement somehow. What do you think?
I think it's entirely not an illusion of grandeur, but like a striving for grandeur or wishing for grandeur. Like I didn't think I was the next. I don't know. I'm trying to think of a philosopher people would know, like Aristotle or Descartes or something like that. I never thought I was that. I thought within my specific thing, I had a very interesting and unique reading of something. And it turns out I did, but it wasn't as interesting and unique as I had wanted it to be. And it was much more of a, and I think this is the idea that I guess I realized is that like, um, I feel like when people are working on, I don't know the brain research of the last 30 years and how it's changed, just to be totally honest. Uh, but like, so we talked about Darwin recently, right? And he's talking about evolution and he gets fought on evolution and he has like proxy wars with other people about evolution because everyone's defending him or attacking him and there's all these talks on it. But he knows, like Darwin knows he's right and Darwin knows his idea is right. It's just going to take time to like permeate out, right? I, my
I have
idea.
no idea. How do you know that Darwin knew that? Have you like read his diaries or something? Because doesn't
Um,
everyone have a little bit of doubt?
so the people that I have read don't have any
Mm.
doubt. And when like the few that do have doubt, the doubt isn't whether or not they're right. It's like how much of what they're saying is right. Like they know that everyone else is wrong and they know what's going on for real, but they're not sure if they've got the whole picture or not. Like that's the only doubt I've ever seen. And I never had that like confidence. I was always like, I think I'm right about this, but maybe, but I don't know. I don't know. I think it's probably, I don't know. It's probably different for people who are at that stage as opposed to just, I don't know, whatever career academic stuff that I was doing. So I don't know. I don't know if any of that really makes sense even, but
I feel like I feel you. That's like a great disappointment to suffer. I feel like sometimes suffering is the greatest wisdom teacher. Like
sure,
when we
sure.
really get a handle on things, it's often because we're experiencing like a lived reality that's like totally changing whatever we were thinking before. And it's usually painful. I don't know, it has been
Yes.
for me.
So let me ask you about this one because what you just said made me think of this. One of the big changes in transitioning out of academia, and I don't know how much you've transitioned in and out of academia or still feel like you're in it. I feel like you seem to be more active in it than I am. Um, by a lot actually. Doing like you do educational work still, even though it's not like in the university or something. Um, so I don't know how much you would consider yourself in it, but when I was in academia, I almost forgot how intelligent I was, and that sounds super arrogant and assholish. And to a degree, it is. But like I forgot that I'm like a pretty smart dude. And because I'm surrounded by like everybody else who is stupid fucking smart, like the smartest people you'll ever meet. Um,
Stupid smart. Oh my gosh. If I didn't have a complex before I got to my master's program, holy
oh
moly.
Lord.
Oh, what a wake up. Oh my golly.
Oh, and I thought I was like the coolest motherfucker because I got like a Fulbright grant, and that is like you know what a Fulbright is, right? No?
I do. Yes, I
Oh,
do.
okay, sorry. Um, that was like a big fucking deal for me. Like my grandma knew what it
That's a
was.
huge fucking deal.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's
And,
amazing.
and then I go and I have conversations with kids who are like 6 and 5, 7 years younger than me because they're in a different part of the program and they're way fucking smarter than me. Like in my field, they know more about shit than I do. And I'm like, guys, this is embarrassing. It's stupid embarrassing. Like I'm here I am being recognized for being like, an intelligent person, a good researcher, doing interesting work, and you guys are putting me to shame. And so it's like the further I got along, the further I realized that I was not, you know, the cream of the crop. Which is not to say that I'm not like, a good person or like have exceptional abilities or something like that in many ways. And like you forget that when you surround yourself with it. And the thing for me, Pax, has been how hard and difficult I was on myself because of what I was surrounded with and the competitive stuff I was surrounded with. And like the realization was like I don't have to be that person to be happy. Like that has been like the biggest realization. Like the suffering taught me
Interesting.
like it sucks to be that guy and I don't want to be that guy anymore. You know? Like I'm
Oh,
way
that's
happier now out
fascinating.
of it. So have you had experience like that, or I don't know, where are you at in your academic world? How do you feel in relation to that?
Oh, uh, academia can go and fuck itself.
Yeah, yeah,
It almost killed me. Yeah, I didn't have that same sort of journey, but I certainly had my own in um, it was mostly deciding what I was willing to put up with to engage with that community. And I didn't get caught up as much in the comparison game because it's kind of always all a struggle. It's just like, was I going to be able to survive the struggle or not? And yeah, uh, I don't think that that's a healthy place that's full of wellness. And I would like to reinvent education as a whole. We've talked a little bit about capitalism, and I think we're coming from different places there. But the heart of it is our current education system is wound into the other societal structures, right? And so we're going to have an industrialized education system that's like creating people for factory work until we decide not to.
yes.
And I think we're
And now we
trying
have a
to move make movements there, yeah, but we got a long way to go. And that's not saying I mean, I would actually love to do a PhD. I'm kind of like sort of been pretending I'm doing my own, just like writing a lot and reading a lot and making it part of like my everyday um, reality. And that feels good. That feels like wellness. That feels like learning and growth. And there's none of the stupid, just pressure of academia. I just don't feel like that kind of incubation is worth the cost.
yeah, I I feel you. I also well, I don't even know. So many things hit me. Like I couldn't imagine having to be a woman to try to go through academia, even now, because it just
That's
seems
fucking it right
fucking
there.
terrible. Um,
Amen.
I had one of my good friends, and it took me a long time to realize this. And I'm not proud of how long it took me to realize a long time to realize a lot of things, and I'm not proud of the fact that I haven't learned a lot of things still, and I still struggle with some of them. But
You're so funny. You are just I welcome the day when you really trust yourself because I think that you have an opportunity there to grow.
thank you. I have to say one thing real quick. Toasted, you can go fuck off with that Santa type chuckle right now. All right, I'm a fat dude, but I'm not old, and there's no white hair, and I don't appreciate being a Santa. So, so sorry. I don't know if you're watching the chat at all. People are talking back and forth, and I'm trying to monitor a little bit to see if they have input, which I just forgot to do. And the toasted was the first thing I saw. But I sorry. One of the things I was going to say was a good friend of mine talked about how in her master's program, in the 2 years it took her, she essentially had to deal with a dude falling in love with her and then getting upset that she didn't reciprocate the feelings. Or like the one time that she tried, she was like, I had to get upset that I didn't like fall right in love with him right away. Um, and it's just like I didn't have to deal with that. No one was trying to fuck me the entire time I was studying. Studying was hard enough. Studying tried to fuck me the entire time. I didn't have to also deal with somebody like pawing and fawning all over me every time I wanted to go out and do anything social. And that just is a it's a different level of stress that gets added onto it because it's like permeating it, and I still can't understand it and process it, and I just can't imagine how difficult it was for her. And she's got a great job now and is doing good work, and I'm very happy for her. So, actually, I'm sorry. Did you want to hop in on any of that, Pax, or is that something not worth going into?
Well, you're accepting that responsibility for cutting me off at some point, probably if you're inviting me there, because yeah, it's an absolute nightmare, and I I can speak from my lived experiences of being one of two women in an entire class of freshman engineering students.
Oof.
Um, yeah, so that's I mean, I didn't finish an engineering program because I just didn't want to live in that environment. Like I just didn't. I tried, and I was like, nope. I just don't want to work with these people every day for the rest of my life. That's not what's gonna happen.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine. Wow.
You know, and it's like every single level. I mean, I was married super young, and while
You broke up on us there. You were married super young and then you disappeared on me. Okay, I'm going to take this time then to stop the recording.